Imagine a world teetering on the brink, not from a missile launched across continents, but from the frozen, desolate expanse of the South Pole. In the heart of the Cold War, amidst escalating tensions, a chillingly audacious Soviet plan was conceived to position nuclear missiles at the Earth's southernmost point, targeting the United States. The year is 1957. The world is captivated by the International Geophysical Year, a period of unprecedented scientific collaboration focused on understanding Earth's polar regions. But beneath this veneer of scientific endeavor, the Soviet Union, under the leadership of Nikita Khrushchev, was exploring a daring, clandestine military application for this frozen continent. The geopolitical landscape was defined by the intensifying Cold War rivalry between the Soviet Union and the United States. The arms race was accelerating, and both superpowers sought any strategic advantage, no matter how unconventional or geographically extreme. The primary motivation was strategic. Soviet military planners recognized the vulnerability of their existing missile launch sites, primarily located in European Russia, to American preemptive strikes. Launching from Antarctica offered a seemingly invulnerable, albeit extraordinarily complex, alternative. The technical challenges were monumental. Antarctica presented an environment of extreme cold, perpetual darkness during winter, and limited infrastructure. Transporting men, materials, and sophisticated missile systems across thousands of miles of treacherous ocean and then across the frozen continent would require unparalleled logistical prowess. Initial Soviet studies, reportedly initiated in the late 1950s, explored the feasibility of establishing secret missile bases. These studies considered launching modified R-11 Scud or R-7 Semyorka ballistic missiles, adapted for the harsh Antarctic conditions. The concept involved constructing hardened, subterranean launch facilities buried deep within the ice to protect against both the elements and potential detection. Power generation, life support, and maintaining operational readiness in temperatures plummeting to -80 degrees Celsius were significant hurdles. The idea was to bypass existing U.S. early warning systems, which were primarily focused on the Northern Hemisphere. Missiles launched from the South Pole could theoretically reach major American cities, including Washington, D.C. and New York, with significantly reduced warning times. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959 by 12 nations including the U.S. and USSR, effectively demilitarized the continent, dedicating it to peace and science. This treaty, while ostensibly a diplomatic achievement, also complicated and ultimately thwarted such clandestine Soviet ambitions. However, Soviet interest in Antarctic bases, including potential military applications, did not entirely cease with the treaty. While overt militarization was forbidden, espionage and reconnaissance activities, alongside scientific outposts, continued, offering cover for potential strategic planning. The operational range of missiles available in the late 1950s and early 1960s was a critical factor. The R-7, while powerful, had limitations. Adapting it or developing new systems capable of reaching the U.S. from Antarctica, while maintaining accuracy, posed immense engineering challenges. The psychological impact of such a threat, had it become known, would have been immense. The idea of nuclear weapons being deployed from the bottom of the world would have amplified existing Cold War anxieties and fears of mutually assured destruction. The logistical nightmare extended to maintaining the readiness of the missiles themselves. Extreme cold can affect fuel stability, electronics, and mechanical components. Constant monitoring and maintenance by specialized crews would have been essential, further increasing the complexity and risk. The cost of such an operation would have been astronomical. Establishing and sustaining a secret military base in Antarctica, complete with missile launch capabilities, would have diverted vast resources from other Soviet priorities during a period of intense economic and military competition. The discovery of such a base by the United States or its allies would have triggered an immediate and severe international crisis, potentially escalating to direct conflict. The treaty violation would have been undeniable and catastrophic. While the most ambitious aspects of the plan, involving actual deployment and launch readiness, likely remained theoretical due to insurmountable challenges in the Antarctic Treaty, Soviet interest in the region persisted. They maintained scientific stations, which could serve as dual-use facilities. The existence of such a plan, even if only on paper, reveals the lengths to which the Soviet Union was willing to go to gain a strategic nuclear advantage during the Cold War. It highlights the paranoia and the relentless pursuit of perceived security. The technical hurdles, including the development of robust, cold-weather missile systems and the creation of a self-sufficient Antarctic military infrastructure, proved to be prohibitive for a full-scale deployment during the era's technological limitations. The signing of the Antarctic Treaty in 1959 by 12 nations, including the USSR and the USA, played a pivotal role. It designated Antarctica as a continent for peace and science, banning military activities and installations, effectively closing the door on overt Soviet nuclear ambitions there. Despite the treaty, the possibility of covert operations or reconnaissance remained a concern for Western intelligence agencies. The vast, unexplored nature of Antarctica offered ample opportunities for clandestine activities. The legacy of this South Pole Gambit lies not in its execution, but in its conception. It serves as a stark reminder of the extreme measures considered during the Cold War and the powerful intersection of geography, technology, and political desperation. The potential consequences of such a plan were apocalyptic. A launch from Antarctica could have drastically altered the strategic balance, potentially shortening warning times and increasing the risk of miscalculation during a crisis, pushing the world closer to nuclear war. The technological leap required, developing missiles capable of long-range accuracy from an extreme environment, coupled with the logistical feat of maintaining them, was likely beyond the Soviet Union's capabilities in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The Soviet Union did establish a significant scientific presence in Antarctica, including bases like Vostok Station, famous for its record-low temperatures. While ostensibly scientific, these outposts provided valuable intelligence and logistical support infrastructure. The what-if scenario remains chilling. What if the technology had been sufficient? What if the geopolitical climate had been even more volatile? The South Pole Plan, though unrealized, serves as a potent symbol of Cold War brinkmanship. Ultimately, the combination of immense technical difficulty, staggering costs, international treaties like the Antarctic Treaty of 1959, and the sheer strategic impracticality rendered the Soviet South Pole nuclear gambit a dangerous, but thankfully theoretical, ambition. The story of the Soviet South Pole nuclear plan is a testament to the extreme paranoia and strategic thinking that defined the Cold War. It highlights how even the most remote and inhospitable corners of the Earth became potential battlegrounds in the global struggle for dominance. This audacious plan, born in the crucible of Cold Warfare, reminds us of the constant threat of nuclear annihilation and the critical importance of diplomacy and international cooperation in preserving peace. What other chillingly ambitious strategies lay hidden in the archives of history?